Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing an updated Perdition deck. So this one, originally I wanted to focus the deck on Dragonewt, but then because of the Stride format, the problem with Dragonewt is he's still really good. The Preda came out in GB1. It's actually meant for Dragonewt, because Dragonewt's effect was pretty hard to pull off, but it's a very good effect when you can pull it off, because he burns the trigger and he just retires two things, dealing them direct damage, so, and negating that trigger effect. So I kind of wanted to make the deck be more focused on it, but just throwing the Preda, it didn't really help too much, because it just gave it like that random Red Pulse Draco Kid style effect. So I made the deck more focused on just Legion in general, as well as being able to do Stride. So because of that, I changed the lineup a little bit. So we'll see here. So I am still running the 4 Dragonewt. Dragonewt is probably, he's a really fun Kagero Perdition unit. The only thing is his effect is a hefty cost, and it's kind of hard to pull off. So it doesn't mix well with Quintet Wall because it's Counterblast 2, and he has to discard a copy of either him or the Legion mate. So because of that, the deck doesn't run too well with Quintet Wall, and usually Quintet Wall is actually pretty good at one copy with the traditional Perfect Guards in Legion-based decks like this one. So, just 4 of him. And then 1 Perdition Dragon, Pain Laser Dragon. This is in here usually as just Stride fodder, or just the grade 3, the 9th grade 3. Then the other grade 3 obviously will be 4 Draconic Overlord, Perdition Emperor Dragon, Draconic Overlord the Great. So the Great is in here. I took him out of my Overlord deck because I wanted to go back to the Perdition, so Perdition's had a restanding Vanguard. I still may mix it up a little bit more later on, but then I'd have to split my Neoflames between the decks. So right now all the Neoflames are in here. So I could do like 2 the Great and 2 or 3 Pain Laser. And then 2 Neoflames in here and 2 Neoflames in there. So I might actually do that, I don't know. But right now the Great is in here just to boost the deck a little bit. He's just a really good card overall. So 9 grade 3s, because I am not running Stride fodder, because it's in another deck that we posted in a future video, and they don't really need it because it's Legion focused. And if you're able to tank out through your opponent's initial strides and survive, you'll most likely end up winning, just because Legion in general overall has more durability and survivability compared to a Stride deck. So because they can't really deck out as easily, and they're just Legion in general, just really good. Just throw all those heals back, throw all those criticals back. So next we've got 4 Neoflame, 4 because I'm running 4 the Great, and the Great is really important to be able to Legion. In Legion focus, you want the highest success rate for Legion, so obviously max copies of this. Next, 4 Whirlwind Dragon, same thing, it's Legion focus. Obviously, with Dragonewt, you must run 4 of this and 4 of him in order to really be able to pull off the effect. Since you won't be able to do it all that much, usually it's only done once per game. The game will be over after that, or no more than 2 times per game. I don't think, it's been like a really long time since I've been able to pull this effect off twice in the same match. Usually it's only 1 time. But Stride kind of changes a lot of the lineup too. I was running Preda. I took him out because I am running Pain Laser again. So Perdition Dragon Menace Laser is at 3 copies in here. I won't really Legion into this unless on the rare chance where you actually have to start off, you ride Pain Laser. Obviously you do want to do the Legion just to be able to blow up that column. Then later on you can Stride and retire another column. So he's actually pretty good against Oracle Think Tank, surprisingly. He can clear out a Silent Tom column really easily. And then Menace Laser is just a really good Perdition card in general. So 3 copies of this. Yeah, 3 is enough when you're only running like 1 of this, and you almost never Legion into it anyway. So for grade 1s, 4 Rampart Dragon. This is the Perdition Sentinel. 4 of it because, like I said earlier, the deck is Counterblast heavy. The Great's going to keep expending Counterblast in late game or early game if you have to use him early. This guy is going to use a lot of Counterblast, which is the main reason why I don't run the Quintet Wall. Also, he needs a copy of him or the mate to discard from your hand. So if the Quintet Wall has the potential to mess that up because it might mill copies of him onto the Guardian circle, which you don't want that to happen. So unfortunately, because I do, like I said, I do like Quintet Walls in Legion focused decks. I think it helps Legion speed up a lot faster and keep pace with Stride a lot better. So 4 of that. Next, 4 Perdition Dancer Anna. She's the other support card that they got in GBT01 besides Preda. I'm not running Preda in here for reasons I already mentioned, but she's in here because of Vortex Dragonewt. Just because he's a Counterblast 2, she can unflip 2, but she has the Soul Blast of Perdition, so that's why basically everything's got to be Perdition. So she's there to unflip stuff. And then Dragonmon Gojo, 3 copies of him, because he's really good in Perdition, because he sets up for Legion really fast, and I'm not running the Quintet Wall, so he kind of helps fix that problem. So you can fix your hand too. Just a really old school card from BT1 and the first Kagero trial deck. That's just really good. And then the 2 Calamity Tower, of course, because you'll be Soul Blasting and you'll re-Legion later on, usually depending on the match. But Calamity Tower is just there for extra draw power, because a slow deck like Kagero needs that extra draw potential. So that's the grade 1s. So 13 grade 1s because we're running 9 grade 3s. For the trigger lineup, people probably already know what it is. It's 4 draw and 8 critical. Notice I am running all the Perdition stuff except for the Gatling Claw, because Gatling Claw is just way too good. And then the best Kagero healer, Perdition Dancer Agafia, because she can heal the most. Because it's a Legion deck, and she'll just get thrown back into the deck anyway, kind of like what happened in that one episode where Kai healed like 5 or 6 times. And the starter is Dragonewt Sade, because he doesn't use any counterblast, and he doesn't require Legion to be active, unlike the Perdition starters. So he works with Stride just fine, and he's just overall the best one. For the Stride deck, I am running 2 Muhammad. This guy is a really good first Stride. And then I also am running 2 Zom, Divine Dragonite Zom. He's actually pretty good with Menace Laser, surprisingly. He works really well. So he basically Menace Laser will blow up something, and he will then blow up something else somewhere else in the field, which doesn't have to be in the same column as him, which is why I kind of like this guy in Perditions. So 2 of him and 2 of him. And then I am running 2 Root Flare. I recommend running 4 for now, but 2 is not a big deal, because he does essentially the same thing that Pain Laser Dragon does, only it's a Stride effect. You have to unflip one of him, and you have to have 2 or more G-Zones, so you can't Stride him first. So either one of those 2 are usually first Stride. He's almost always the second Stride. And then the only other Stride unit I am running in here is the 2 Divine Dragonite Mustafa. Ideally, you'd want to run probably 4 Root Flare and don't run Mustafa. But Mustafa can essentially retire for free without Counterblast. I mean, he Counterblasts 1. He unflips any card in the G-Zone, but usually you're going to always want to unflip him, so that you can unflip. So basically, when you unflip, actually, you retire based on the number of copies of him that are face up in the G-Zone, so you'll almost always unflip him. And then you choose a unit for each... okay, no, actually, I'm reading it wrong. So it's, yeah, basically it's, you retire something for Counterblast 1, and you unflip some generation unit, but usually it's going to be this guy, because then you get to choose units up to each of the face-up one of these. So if you've only got 1 face-up, then you get to choose 1 unit. It could be the Vanguard or a Rearguard, and it gets the effect of when it hits a Vanguard. It can choose a card unflip from the damage zone. So 2 of him, he's obviously not as good as Root Flare, because he's more situational, and yeah, so that's basically the deck. It's not a big deal that I'm only running 2 Root Flare, because keep in mind that more cards will come out for the Stride units. They'll get new stuff eventually, which will probably make it a lot harder to fit everything in here. So I imagine later on it'll be like 2 Root Flare, some new thing that might be run at 4, and then it'll be like one of these and one of these. So Stride deck right now doesn't really matter too much for Kagero. They have a lot of options. But right now Root Flare is definitely one of the better ones. So that was basically my updated Perdition deck. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. And as always, stay tuned for more Cardfight Vanguard videos. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.